Okay, Sapnin fellas, apologies if my voice sounds a bit off today. I'm very tired, because for the past 3 days, my cat has been waking me up at like 5:30 in the morning to feed him. He's been messing with my sleep schedule. I'm very tired, but I'm making content for you anyway, because you're cool. But in today's video, we're talking about 5 fun Pokemon. But like, I'm not saying these Pokemon are good, but they're just fun Pokemon that you could potentially build around, why they're fun, what they do, stuff like that. I feel like this format has it. If you feel like this format is like a lot of the same stuff, like a lot of Fluttermane, Urshifu, Amoonguss, Chien-Pao, Heatran, Rillaboom, D-Knight, stuff like that. These Pokemon aren't them. A lot of these Pokemon are very off-meta. But after testing them, they're very fun and can definitely bring some joy into your Regulation D. So, first Pokemon I'm going to be talking about is Clodsire. Now, Clodsire completely walls Urshifu. Surging Strikes actually does negative damage to it. Close combat isn't very effective. Very, very specially bulky, 130, 100, so it can tank hits from things like Main and Tornado Swell. It can also hit Main super effectively. If Gong Shot doesn't hit, it's getting hit with a Stomping Tantrum. Yawn is an incredible move, so is Helping Hand. Clodsire, since it did get like top 40 at this big Regulation D tournament, more people have been using it. And it's been getting more and more results, and this Pokemon isn't bad because of how the format's changed. It's seeing, like, actual usage now, because when you look at all the Pokemon, right, the Fluttermane isn't doing too much damage to it. Completely walls Urshifu. Tornadus isn't doing too much. Amoonguss can be a bit of a problem, but in Trick Room it underspeeds Amoonguss, which can be big. Chien-Pao can be a bit of a problem if you don't Terra Water. It covers both regular Heatran and Terra Grass Heatran. Landorus can be a bit of a problem for it, as can Cresselia. Rillaboom definitely doesn't want to take a Gunk Shot. I don't think it cares about D-Knight that much. Same with Hands. But yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon in the format that Clodsire is good into. And again, not saying it's a good Pokemon, but there's a reason it's been seeing more and more usage, and, you know, it's just fun to use. Next is going to be Dudunsparce. Now, I recently built a team with Dudunsparce. It was like a Goltres Screens team. I've decided that Goltres is going to be my Pokemon of usage this regulation, if I'm not using Furrygraph. And Dudunsparce with Screens is so incredibly bulky, like 125, 80, 75 if you look at Amoonguss. 114, 70, 80. It's bulkier than Amoonguss. Has more offensive presence, has more speed, and it gets 3 amazing moves, right? Hyper Drill can just ignore Protect, right? Urshifu can already do that, and we know how broken that is. Glare is just the paralysis version of Spore, and Tailwind, also, Glare can also hit ground types, and Tailwind is Tailwind. I personally like to run Rocky Helmet. You can run Terra Water. I like to run Terra Ghost, so that opposing Urshifu are forced to Surging Strikes and take big Rocky Helmet damage. This Pokemon isn't great, but it's not terrible either. It has enough speed to outspeed Fluttermane in Tailwind. Yeah, Glare is just an incredible move, so it's Tailwind, so it's Hyper Drill. It's a good Disruption mon, kind of like, think a more annoying version. Think like a Paraflinch version of Thundurus Incarnate. That's Dudunsparce. It's very fun. Just a very, very fun Pokemon. And also, I have an excuse to use my marked Shiny 3 segment. Next is going to be Samurott, Hisuian Samurott. I was using this on a Mimikyu team a while ago. It was Mimikyu Ursaluna. And it worked. This Pokemon put in some, like, really, really big work. I ran Assault Vest with Razor Shell, Ceaseless Edge. You can choose either Razor Shell or Ceaseless Edge. Razor Shell is a bit more powerful, and has a 50% chance to lower the target's defense by 1. Aqua Cutter, so tiny bit less power, a bit more accuracy, high critical hit ratio. Just depends on if you want more power and the defense drops and stuff. Ceaseless Edge is an incredible move, sets a layer of spikes on the opposing side. Sacred Sword is Sacred Sword, and then you can go Aqua Jet, you can also go Sucker Punch, because it gets that as well. I personally prefer Aqua Jet, so I can use priority moves even if the opponent doesn't make an attack. And the good thing about Razor Shell, Ceaseless Edge, and Sacred Sword is that they're all boosted by sharpness. So like that Sacred Sword, that's boosted to 90, 45, 135 base power. So that's stronger than close combat. Razor Shell is boosted by both stab and sharpness. Ceaseless Edge is boosted by both stab and sharpness. I think you get the point. Poison is a very good Terra type for it. Poison is weak to ground and psychic. Razor Shell covers ground, Ceaseless Edge covers psychic. It also gets rid of its grass weakness, its fairy weakness, its fighting weakness. Basically every weakness it previously had is either resists or is gone, and the new weaknesses are covered by its original typing. Yeah, this Pokemon is very strong with sharpness, and it's just very fun to use. Have I said any of these Pokemon are really fun to use yet? I don't think I have. This Pokemon's fun to use. Next is going to be Berserker. Now, what Berserker does is, you may look at these stats and think, oh wait, this Pokemon's a bit mid. And you'd be right about that. But Fake Out and U-Turn is something Rillaboom's already doing. Iron Head and Close Combat may not seem like much. And the stats aren't anything to write home about. It's basically just a worse Rillaboom. But this ability, Steely Spirit, this Pokemon and its allies' Steel-type moves have their power multiplied by 1.5. You know what this is paired with? Golden Go with Boost Specs and Terra Steel, and you click Make It Rain. That's a big Steel-type move. Do you see where I'm going with this? Big damage. Berserker itself isn't great, but with Golden Go, it's pretty comical just how much damage this thing is doing. Again, Fake Out and U-Turn, both really good tools. Close Combat and a Iron Head boosted by Steely Spirit, they're not anything to scoff at either. With a base 110 attack slate. It's very bulky on the physical side. And on the special side, that can be patched up with an Assault Vest. So, yeah, Berserker is just there to help the Golden Go, but it's damn good at its job. And lastly, I'm going to talk about probably the most used Pokemon on here, Glastrier. I don't understand why this Pokemon isn't more used. You look at this thing's stats, right? This thing is more this thing is just as min-max as Fluttermane. It has more attack than Fluttermane has special attack. Has nearly as much defense as Fluttermane has special attack, special defense, and speed. Speed types of Amoonguss in Trick Room, so it's amazing in Trick Room. Really good bulk, 100, 130, 110. I think it might just be because it has to rely on Icicle Crash for stab as to why it's not as used, but it's a Pokemon with insanely high attack, insane bulk, and it has Moxie. This Pokemon's it has a renamed Moxie. Chilling Nade's Pokemon's attack is raised by one stage if it attacks and KOs another Pokemon. So, with a Clear Amulet and Swords Dance, you let this thing get out of hand, it just snowballs the rest of the opponent's team. For coverage, you always want Icicle Crash. If this thing got Ice Spinner, it would be incredible. But then there's Stomping Tantrum, there's Heavy Slam, there's Close Combat, I've seen body press, but I don't know why you'd run body press over close combat. There's crunch, outrage for some reason, trailblaze, zen headbutt, smart strike, stomp, thrash. All this really somewhat good stuff. I think the best two are stomping tantrum, an icicle crash for that mammoth stab. But yeah, this thing you can't deal with it quickly in Trick Room. It's gonna snowball your entire team and you're gonna cry in a corner. But yeah, bit of a shorter video today, but I'm very tired. I needed to get something out today. So these were just 5 Pokemon that I feel can bring some excitement to your Regulation D experience. Again, they're not great Pokemon, but they work and they're very fun to use. So yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for 5 watch, bye.